Hello and welcome back to the Candid Thoughts Podcast. This is your host, Isabelo Pasquale. And we're joined today with Mike Santos and Mike Chua of High Status Co. We're at the lovely La Rose Cafe. It's a Filipino restaurant in Hollywood, California. So guys, thank you so much for coming. You flew all the way from the Philippines just for LA Fashion Show this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Las Vegas.
And Las Vegas, yeah. Yeah. So what is High Status Co. and how did you guys get started in the fashion industry?
So before I answer that, we gotta go way back to 2017 when we were first a small marketing agency in the automotive industry. So we were doing car shows, and then we started having requests for models. And I guess it kind of just started from there, and we started having clients within the fashion industry. So from there, I started to learn how to design. First of all, I didn't have any experience on any
of it.
fashion in the fashion designing industry. But I did have an experience on drop shipping, which I kind of connected the whole fashion industry with the drop shipping. And now, even now, like our fashion brand is still structured as a drop shipping. So how that works is we partner with different designers from every continent. So we have one in Colombia, Vietnam, Philippines, and here in America, which is based in Las Vegas here in United States. So how that works is you buy a dress from us, and depending on where your location is, the dresses gets made in wherever you're based in. So if you're based in Philippines, then we make the dress in the Philippines and ship it out to you. So we don't have a single store. So the headquarters that we have are mostly just for customer service use. That's all it is for. We don't ever produce the dresses there. Our partner designers are the ones that produce it. They ship it directly to our customer, and everything just goes from there.
So how many countries do you have runway shows at?
We have done one in Colombia, Philippines, Vietnam, New York, LA, and I think that's about it.
So far?
Yeah, so far,
Yeah.
for now.
Yeah, I'm curious, how did you guys connect together and partner on High Status Co?
So, well, I'm a photographer. So, on my experience, because whenever I ask the model to pose, I give them directions, right? So, since he was in the model side and then we were both in the car industry, so I usually shoot pictures with his models and my guys' cars, and then time flew by, and he was like, "Oh, why don't you start, directing my models of how to do stuff since I do them anyway in photography." So I tried it out, and then here I am.
So it's a natural cohesion with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
And he also take photos back in the day when we were still a small marketing agency. So he was doing the content photo for us.
Yeah. So as far as like team dynamics and company culture, you guys work fantastic. But we were talking earlier, Mike. You said that most of your staff, after they're finished, they graduate onto different ventures.
Yes.
Yeah. So you had one model that we've worked with together. She's an entrepreneur now, and so she
Yes.
has a
So
coffee business.
one of my main assistant here, when I first started, she now owns 2 restaurants here one in Monrovia and one in Upland.
Yeah.
So kind of proud of her.
And it all started with the school of high status quo. So in the future, there might be some coaching guys.
I would not. I am not the best person to coach.
You don't know that.
Not yet. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about your process with fashion design. So what is your system behind the scenes? Your take on design?
So, like I said earlier, we are a drop shipping based fashion brand. So we don't ever make the dress, but if we have to, we also can make the dress. So you order a dress from us, you want it fully customized, like at your preference, we can design that too. So, however, everything, all the designs that we create are processed digitally. Everything is done on a computer, and depending on where you're from, if you're in Vietnam, then we just send the file out to one of our partner designers in Vietnam, and then they make the dress, ship it out directly to you.
I'm curious because you focus on female clothing. What about a Barang Tagalog? Do you ever think about entering the male space of design or not so much?
Barong?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because
Okay. You heard it first, folks.
2022, when I wanted to sponsor a model in the Philippines, and she was competing for Miss Universe. So Miss Universe Philippines organization declined me for the fact that I was not a local fashion designer in the Philippines and based on like how our brand is structured, it's a drop shipping. They don't think it's a valid, like they don't consider me as a designer since everything that we do is digital.
Yep.
So I guess it's different how they operate there.
Okay. And then as a manager and talent agency, what are the criteria you're looking for with your models when you're signing new talent?
Well, for the models, we actually prefer models that have little to no experience. They're just easier to work with.
Oh.
They have less ego, just very easy in general to work with.
Less jaded than they have fun. They're not divas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that can be complicated. From my experience when I was doing talent management, I had clients where I booked them on 3 different jobs, paying jobs, commercials, nationwide commercials. And this client was like, no, I'm not interested. Find me something else. And this is like he's really too picky. So it is what it is. We severed ties because there's a lot, as a talent manager, you can book them on shows and whatnot, and then there's too much drama. What are you going to do? It's a waste of your time and your resources. So today's sponsor is Billion New Friends. B&F Kombucha is the smoothest kombucha on the market. Currently selling in Washington and Oregon, in Whole Foods and New Seasons markets, all over the PDX area, Salem, and we're breaking into California and Hawaiian markets. They use all natural ingredients, and they have a proprietary brewing process, so it is super smooth and tasty. So you don't really get that vinegary taste. So we have Manigold Mango and the Oregon Blueberry here to sample. So you guys want to try some kombucha?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So we're going to try the Manigold Mango Kombucha first. And there's a little bit of alcohol. You guys may get buzzed.
Thank you.
Okay. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
It's pretty smooth.
Not bad.
Yeah. Compared to other brands, which have more vinegar, this is more of a tea flavor. It's pretty good, and you also enjoy all the probiotics that, makes it regulates healthy gut health. Okay. And then we have the Oregon blueberry right here, guys.
This is me. So this is blueberry.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. This is pretty good. It's like juice, guys.
Very good.
I like this.
Love it.
What are some complications you ran into in your shows?
Complications. Ooh, a lot.
I was gonna say.
He can speak for that one.
I'm gonna start on the back end because that's where I work.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a show, because I do their walk coordination. So, oh wait, no. Let me start with the planning process. So the practices and all that, right?
Yeah.
So the main problem is last minute they're gonna cancel. That's like one of my pet peeves. Even like the upcoming shows, I would always consider one of them is gonna just call in sick or
Yeah.
whatnot. So and then he wanted something done in a specific way. So the adjustment for on the spot adjustment is the one that is I'm trying to like make sure that we can do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's the models or whoever I'm working with that can't really sink into that, So some of them would say, oh, it's not doable because, somebody canceled, everything shifted. So they have to be able to like adapt to those kinds of situations. But then since we're working with, less experienced models, and then staffing is like, it goes around. There's never really a permanent person that's working with me, especially I'm, in Vegas and then they're over there
Yep.
overseas. So it's a little harder for that. So
Okay.
when in times that we have to adjust on those kinds of situation. So it's a little tough.
And then for event fashion show producer, it becomes difficult for us because they are used to doing runway shows,
Yep.
which is typically just model walking, in and out. But for us, it's a bit slower because of our design. So we're more on the pageantry side. So the models have to walk slow. And so basically, for event fashion show producer, it makes it harder for them because now they only gives us like a 10-minute time for our entire segment. So that is one of the things that we had a problem with participating in other fashion shows. So that's why we decided to host our own fashion show.
What else is there?
So as far as the pageantry, for the models out there that want to get into the business, Pageantry is more so for teenagers and above, right? What are the age ranges for pageantry?
It is from 16, it depends. So if you are competing for Miss Teen USA or any national teen competition, then it's between from 16 to 18.
Okay.
And when you go for the higher level of pageantry, which is here in America, like Miss Universe, I believe they only have Miss Universe here, if I'm not mistaken, that are the major ones. So that is from like, I believe 21 through 27.
Okay.
But they just started accepting applications for models now that are 30.
And some of the aspiring models, they may not be like 5'7". Typically, for models, it's like 5'7" to 5'9" is like the range. Now, some shows they're starting to get shorter models. What's your experience with that? Is it changing or is it the same?
So that's another complication that we
Yeah.
experience, because when we use the event producers, fashion show event producers model, they're typically always taller,
Yeah.
5'7" and above. So I'm not a big fan of that. Like, I believe anybody can be a model, whether it's short or tall, big, small. So we started using our model from our modeling agency. And using our model from our modeling agency also allows the model to get an experience on fashion show events.
So for aspiring fashion designers and fashion producers, what tips do you guys have for them to start and what they can do to stay in business?
The only thing I can really say is it's gonna be tough because the fashion industry is so saturated. So it's going to be tough. You're gonna get knocked down,
Yep.
but just don't give up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like with any business. There's complications. There's also politics with other professional colleagues and peers as well. But you just have to persevere and make something
Absolutely.
distinct. So additionally to High Status Co., you guys offer private concierge services. And because, Mike, I see you all the time. You're traveling to the Middle East, to Asia, to Europe, United States, all over the place. And is that a Richard Mille? Can we show the camera? Yeah, folks, Richard Mille right here, fashion designer. And then I always see Mike, if you follow your social media, give him the plug.
By the way, we are releasing our own watch line, so it will be out this
Stay
year.
tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
By December.
Yeah, you heard it here, guys. Yeah.
And we're specializing in tourbillon watches.
Nice. Yeah, so that's for you watch lovers. Follow them and your social media, guys. How can they follow you guys?
It's high status _ CO.
Yep. And it's going to be in the links, guys. You can check it out. So as far as the private flight concierge services, so how did you get into that and how does it work?
Well, for me, it all started back in 2017 when I first started High Status. So I had that mentality where, I didn't want to be a local. I didn't want to be known local.
Yeah.
So I wanted to expand whatever I was doing globally.
Yeah.
So I knew I couldn't afford to fly out. I couldn't afford to fly like monthly internationally. So I applied at a charter company based in Las Vegas. I started off there as a maintenance. So after a while, I started learning how to, with my experience in the marketing and the media production, so I applied for a higher position, which is the marketing. So by the way, what I do in the concierge industry is, how we operate is, have you heard of Turo?
Yep. So Turo is a rental service for vehicles, guys.
So it works the same way as in the aviation company. So you have a jet, I market your jet, I charter it. If if I get you a client, they book it, and everything just goes from there.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of just jet owners, 90% of the time, the jet doesn't, their jet just sits there. So what we do is market it, charter it, and it goes from there.
Yeah. So if you guys are looking for a private jet service, hit up Mike Santos and Mike Chua. So what countries do you guys service as far as that aviation concierge service?
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world, guys.
Anywhere.
And so what about our friends who want to have like a bachelor party and get kind of crazy? Is there a limit or
Well, that depends on the type of jet that you book.
yeah. Okay.
We can get you a jumbo jet, mid-size, and a smaller jet.
I thought you were gonna say depends on the budget.
Well, that too.
Yep. That's a big factor.
But then there are cheaper ones, like what we call open legs. So you book a flight to New York, so that jet has to fly back to wherever
Right.
it came from.
Yeah.
So that is what we call open jets. So a lot of times, so let's say you book a flight to New York, it costs you 150,000.
Yep.
So that open leg is going to cost you only 25,000. Just a fraction of a cost.
Okay. That's pretty cool. So you guys can get your private jet service from Mike Santos. So now this is an interesting topic right here that I want to cover, because in the Filipino diaspora, we have a lot of conversations about who's a real Filipino. So as it's kind of messy here, guys. So I'm a Phil-Am. I was born in the United States, and I'm also a Moreno. My dad's Filipino, my mom is Haitian. And yeah, so you guys are born in the Philippines. Yep. And you guys are 100% Filipino.
Yep.
Yep. So there's a lot of mixed Pinoys around the world that are getting acclaim. You look at Bruno Mars, Chelsea Manalo. You look at Haley Steinfeld, and there's a bunch of other celebrities, but specifically in the design space. So there's 115 million Filipinos in the Philippines, and there's 5 million abroad. And so wherever we go, we make our impact across the world. So as Filipinos born in the Philippines, how do you guys see Filipino Americans as far as like the workflow and culturally?
Well,
I think it has a lot to do with the culture. It all starts there because Filipino American,
Yeah.
they have a different culture as to like Filipinos that are
Born and raised.
born and raised in the
Yep.
Philippines. So I think that plays a major role of like the difference between Filipino American and like Filipino.
Yeah.
Because even when I was applying for a sponsor to sponsor a model for Miss Universe, I was getting rejected for not being a local-based Filipino designer. So, yeah, I think it's the culture.
Right?
it's more of the cultural awareness of them, because in the Philippines, it's what do you call that? They're more close-minded still compared to like now they're starting to open up.
Yeah.
But then here it's more really open.
Yeah. But it's
So-
more the crab mentality. back
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
And I think over there in the Philippines, it's all about status symbol.
Yeah. But at home, when our relatives get the balikbayan, they say thank you, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. But I understand. As a Filipino American, there is a different cultural thing. But growing up in a mixed household, I got to different cultures, and then I also, being American, I had my American friends too, and it's a melting pot here. But yeah, but there's a lot of Filipino Americans. They say "Ako ay Filipino" still, because we still share the same blood and same heritage. But it's the different upbringing. Yeah.
and it's funny because every time we work with a new model in the Philippines,
Yeah.
the first thing I ever tell them is who I am. So a lot of them, they get offended with how I talk because I curse a lot. So I don't care who you are. So if you're working with me, like rehearsal, there's a chance that I could curse at you.
Yeah.
So it's not something that they are used to.
It's more of a term of endearment.
Yeah. So that's the first thing I tell them. So,
Yeah.
you know, if at any point I start to curse at you, don't take it personal.
Yeah.
So it's something, it's the American side of me. Yeah, like I've made models, believe it or not, I've made models cry. I've had models that walked out because how I talk to them.
This is in person and in video calls. They would cry.
Yeah, and that's a true story.
And so, what is something random you guys want to talk about?
Random,
Yeah, just like something spicy
Spicy.
spicy.
for the viewers.
Um,
Clickbait.
Oh, for clickbait.
what?
I don't know. I wasn't prepared. You told me this last minute.
Right?
Spicy. Where should we start with that?
I don't know.
What's something we've experienced
In the Philippines
or here?
or here?
But I think we've had more experience.
I don't know. It's more of like whenever we experience things, it's never really, oh, that this is exciting. It's more of we always try to have fun, or at least me and my team. Whenever I try, like we have worked together, and then I have people under me.
Yeah.
Like I always try to make fun. So it's never really like trying to make things fun. It's always like automatic has to be fun.
Yeah.
Or interesting. There you go. It's more of interesting side.
Okay.
So I don't know. Whatever we do, it's always interesting to them, and then for us, like normal.
I think for me, it's something interesting. I think that would be more of behind closed doors.
So not on the Candid Thoughts podcast.
It's behind closed doors that you make me move from one condo to another.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, I think tonight you're sleeping in this room. And after 3 days, you move to another room. Because he also has like condos in the Philippines.
So yeah, that's another
In
thing.
BGC or where?
It's McKinley. It's
Okay.
part of BGC.
Okay.
It's a small area in like BGC area. So I own 4 condominiums there that I rent out also for like Airbnbs.
Okay. So for the Philams and for, because a lot of people are dating Filipinos now too, let's talk about hot spots in the Philippines to travel to. So where would you guys recommend?
We were talking about it. You want to go back there?
Palawan.
Palawan, of course, that's number one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Palawan.
And I haven't really been around Philippines yet, but I've been Palawan and it was beautiful.
Yep.
But this year I would want to see Siargao.
Okay. Now, what about some places that are off the tourist map? Some like
Like a party spot or hangout spot.
party spots
I
or
would-
any place.
My always go to ever since even before I left, and then now it's really developed to its Eastwood City,
Okay.
and then it's it's one of those close together from BGC then Eastwood, and then we hang out there, we drink, we eat, we party.
Yeah.
After you clock out from work, we just go there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then McKinley is okay.
Party scene, there's not really any clubs out there, but I've been to one in BGC. It was called Silo. That one was, my experience there was a little different than partying here in America in general.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's more of, the people are very proper there. So, over here, they allow you to make it rain. Over there, you're not allowed to do that. I tried, but I was stopped from doing it.
Yep. So outside of the Philippines, you guys have traveled a lot. So you've been to the Middle East, Europe.
Yes.
You were in Afghanistan as well.
Yes.
So what's it like working in those areas? So we touched the U.S. and the Philippines, but as like when you're planning events, like how is the workflow over there and their personalities?
Well, working overseas and here, it's a different experience because you're gonna have a lot of like, you're gonna have different girls that have different experience in each category. So over here, you have models that are highly experienced in runway. As to in the Philippines, we have more models that are more experienced on pageantry. So anyone that does like fashion show event knows that runway and pageantry have a very different style.
I never knew this until I went, until I started working with him.
Yeah.
Like all to me, it's all the same. But then the longer I work, and then now I can see it.
So as far as the selection process, when a lot of people are casting, they look at the social media. So is that a huge deciding factor with choosing the models? Let's say a model who has maybe 200 followers versus one with 10,000 followers, but the 200 followers has more technique and spirit.
Well, first of all, we barely have any models that have 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
We always go for the lowest follower models, actually the newcomer models. So we don't really have a casting process. What I do is I attend castings for like nationals for like Miss Universe. So the ones that do not make it are the ones that I tend to focus more. So if I see a potential with this girl, I hit her up. Hey, we'd love to work with you, and we'd love to have a chance to like work with us.
And to build with you guys.
Yes.
Okay.
So we train them. We put them in a training process. We train them for 6 months, and anything they need. They want experience, we'll give it to them. They want training, they got it.
Okay.
There is no excuse.
Yeah, so I don't buy any excuse that, they can't walk or they don't have the experience because I'm literally giving everything, every needs they have,
Every opportunity that they
opportunity
would,
to them.
But ultimately, it comes down to them choosing to do it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're always gonna have models that is gonna have a change of heart. So, towards the middle of the training process, you're gonna have models that, I don't think this is for me.
Yep.
So I'm gonna stop from here. So it's fine.
Okay.
So it's part of the industry.
Thanks for tuning into the Candid Thoughts Podcast, and we'll see you next time.